Welcome to the Sports Novice Show. This will be our fourth episode. Like I said, we were trying to grow the channel. I want you to please like, subscribe, leave a comment so we can beat the YouTube algorithm and become one of the most popular shows that we have. Again, we got three guys who came together organically. We got my man
AJ.
and we got my man
Jay.
and of course we got A-Dub. So we're gonna jump into it today. Of course, we got some rabid type UNC fans around here. And of course, we got one of the greatest rivalries in America, and it was played last night. So again, we're going to go ahead and jump into that. Again, UNC won, so we're going to talk a lot of trash.
So I've been a Tar Heel fan since I was in fifth grade.
Mhm.
And you cut me open, I'm gonna bleed Carolina blue.
Mhm.
Got the fortune of be able to go to school there for a few years. And so there's no bigger day in the year than when Duke Carolina play.
That's right.
And so, the game speaks for itself. Carolina played, we did well, won the game. But I want to talk about rivalries,
That's
right?
right.
So I think UNC Duke is the best rivalry in all of sports. And people will say, well, it's just college basketball, or oh, it's just the South.
Mhm.
But I think it just transcends all of that.
Mhm.
I mean, just the history, the great players that have come through, the coaches,
Yep.
how close the schools are, just all of that. And to me, I think is the biggest thing going. I'm gonna tell you what, 2 years ago when we played in the tournament, I never in my life thought I would be able to see that. Honestly, I never wanted to see that because I didn't think I could survive it.
Yeah.
Like, I get so much anxiety in this game.
Yeah.
And I just dislike that other team so much
Oh, I can't stand
that
it.
sometimes I get more pleasure. This is unhealthy. I'm gonna admit to this right now.
When they lose.
I get more pleasure from a Duke loss
I love it.
than a Carolina win.
Yeah.
And that's unhealthy. I understand
No, it's
that.
not unhealthy.
I'm gonna
I feel the same way.
purge that
Look,
today.
We could go one and whatever. We just got, two and whatever. We just got to beat them so I can talk trash. That's it. That's all it's about. Like I said, I haven't been a fan that long, like I said, because of course I grew up in South Carolina. We only had one sport, football. So, again, I grew to love, Gene Smith, like I said, I don't know, I think I started disliking Duke during the early days. And it was a boy named Leitner. Oh God, I couldn't stand him. I loved when UNLV beat the brakes off him. God, I loved it.
But see, when I started hating them, really, really hating them,
Yeah.
is the next year.
Yeah.
When after they got blown out by 40, then they beat them. I'm like, no.
They cheated.
Mm-hmm.
They cheated. They was about to go on a rebel run, and they made everybody foul out.
Man,
But nonetheless,
you get blown out by 40 and then you beat them the next year.
by 6 or by not by.
It don't even matter.
Maybe it's me, but I didn't see a lot of people kind of anticipating this game. So with the UNC Duke, are rivalry starting to not mean as much anymore?
So
people?
UNC Duke, never. It's gonna mean
Yeah.
forever. College game day was there. It's still the biggest ticket item, I think. Now you can talk about some other sports like college football, where with realignment, you might not get
Yeah.
some of the ones that we're used to. I mean, I think you're always gonna have, let's think about the other big ones, right?
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Texas,
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State.
Kentucky, Louisville.
I mean, it's a rivalry, but it's, I mean, because Duke Carolina, I don't care if it's women's rowing.
Yeah,
I'm still Duke Carolina, but Duke Carolina basketball, Michigan, Ohio State football, Oklahoma, Texas football.
Any Florida teams?
Miami and Florida State, Florida.
Yeah.
But then you're talking about Big East basketball. You used to talk Georgetown and UConn.
Yeah.
And literally Providence, St. John's. I mean, so when those rivalries of when Syracuse was another big rivalry back in the day. We used to play. But I think it was Syracuse and
Georgetown
was a big rivalry. So you really don't hear about those as much as you do now.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, when you talk about conference realignment and all these super conferences we're going to, you're going to lose some of it, even on a local level. I mean, I went to App State. We used to fight for the jug at the end of the year against Western. We don't do that anymore because we don't play Western at all. So again, we're talking eons ago. So a lot of that tradition and what's the word, the pageantry that comes with the game, that kind of goes away when you get all these super conferences, everybody chasing money. And that basically, that's what it boils down to. I mean, I think I read somewhere this morning that the SEC and the Big Ten are coming up with a advisory board. So I'm guessing that's going to lead to more teams joining. So it's either going to be the East Conference versus the West Conference. I mean, but again, you lose the, and here's what spells it out the most, right? The Dr. Pepper commercial.
Oh, yeah.
And
The rivalry, that's
rivalry,
funny. That's a good
it's
commercial.
a really good commercial, and she's saying, oh, we're leaving for conference realignment. Well, we won't play again. Oh, you guys have horrible academic statistics, whatever. But that's what it boils down to. You're literally going, I'm not going to play my rival. And again, hate to say that, but that's a big moneymaker. It really is. I mean, think about it. Ohio, the Ohio State Michigan game, that parking lot is full. The stadium's packed. Everybody, if you're not at the game, everybody's at a bar or at their house or having a cookout watching it. And the same thing goes for Duke, Carolina. Literally, there are people in their houses when they lose that game or win that game. Either I got to wash the dishes for a week, or my wife has got to do something for a week. My wife's not too, but I'm just saying, for example, when I went to go see my orthodontist person, her husband was a Carolina fan. She was a Duke fan. They used to bet. They'd be like, oh, no, you're going to do this for a week. He would lose. He'd be salty. But again, that goes back to the rivalry. It literally divides families. Some family members don't talk to each other. Like, for example, I have family members who are Niners fans. I don't talk to them, during football season, especially when we play, especially if we got beat down.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to them because I hate losing. But like I said, but I think the conference realignment, they're going to have to find a middle ground to where we keep some of these old rivalries and we keep it fresh in the blood because, like I said, some of the kids now don't even know what that is.
Right. And they won't later in
Yeah.
the future. And it's like, the reason I asked that is because, I mean, with UNC and with Duke, and this is no shade, but what big names made you anticipate for the game?
It don't mean-
Like it used to, back
See,
then.
back
we had-
That's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah.
A true rivalry,
No matter what you're
it
playing.
doesn't matter what you're playing. It doesn't matter who's playing. It's the two teams, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So there's
Yeah.
always matchups. There's always players that you love. But I mean, I'm such a diehard. I could care less if Carolina, now again, I want them to win, but I could care less if Carolina has a team full of walk-ons or a team full of 5-stars.
Mhm.
Once they put on this,
That Carolina, yeah.
I'm rocking with them.
Yeah.
Now, again, there's a lot of talk about, recruiting and how good
Right.
all that's great.
Right.
But a true fan,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if your team is bad, if your team is good, if your team is ranked number 1, or if they haven't won a game,
3 years.
you still rock with
Well,
that
yeah,
team.
you could-
And when you play your rival,
You're on it.
you're gonna be in it no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think they're still gonna try to preserve, I don't ever see a day, one, they're in the same conference already,
Yeah.
but I don't see a day when
Duke doesn't play.
Duke and Carolina don't play, even if for some crazy reason, and again, I don't think this has ever happened either because they're gonna go to the same place.
Yeah.
Carolina went to the SEC and Duke went to the Big Ten, they're still gonna play.
They gotta play.
If Michigan State went to someplace in Ohio, they're still gonna play.
They gotta play Michigan.
Texas and Oklahoma, some of these teams are kind of tied together,
Yeah.
so they're always gonna go where each other
That
goes.
history, that history of
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah, you
But
gotta-
some of the teams like West Virginia and Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
huge rivalry.
yeah,
But they're in different conferences.
Yeah.
And there's a possibility they don't play, but I think to me, you gotta keep that alive by
Yeah.
scheduling it
Mhm.
because,
but you have to.
You know,
Like I
that's
said,
just- yeah.
I think it's a good thing to build a rivalry,
100%,
even if it's
100%.
fun, like I said, but it sells tickets.
Yeah.
It really does, especially if you get the right marketing machine behind it. Oh my God.
And does this win for UNC as of currently, does it, help with, Davis's as a
Legacy?
coach? Yeah, his legacy, does that
No,
hurt or harm him at
He
this
doesn't have a
point?
legacy yet. He doesn't have a legacy yet. What is this? His 4th year?
this is a legacy because he made to the championship.
Yeah, that's
game
why
the
I
first
asked,
year.
yeah.
He had to rebound after last year because they were so bad. But this year he's back on track. I mean, Duke, Shire, they're fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, even last year when Carolina was struggling
Yeah.
and lost to Duke twice, it's still a thing where you go into that game thinking you're gonna win. You
Mhm.
go into that game thinking you never know what's gonna happen, and the fans are just as hyped.
Right.
You know, so that's what I love about it.
Yeah, because I
Um,
love talking about the camera crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the last game of the season is they're gonna be there,
Yep.
and you know it's gonna be on again. But
What do you think would have to happen differently once y'all go to Duke instead of Duke coming to y'all? Nothing.
I mean,
Same
the-
game plan, same.
teams, you know, you either deal with that pressure or you don't. You know, last year we had a couple players, I think it was that were new to the team.
Mhm.
I think it was a little bit much,
Mhm.
and that pressure was, you know, like you know, you've been in big games before, but nothing on the level of UNC and Duke. And like Harrison Ingram last night, he went to Stanford. Stanford's had big games, but nothing on the level of UNC Duke.
Right.
And he killed it. Killed it. So
Go ahead, Brett.
but yeah, so Harrison Ingram balled out last night.
Mhm.
Armando Bacot had the best game he's had, I think, all
Yes,
year.
yes, he has.
He was playing real, I think, passive and tentative like the last,
Mhm.
you know, handful of games because he officially sort of gave over the reins to RJ. But last night they needed him and he stepped up big time against Filipowski. So again, that it doesn't matter what you have and who's on the team, where they play. It's going to be a battle no matter what. They're going to go to Cameron. It's going to be a battle. Hopefully by then we're about 5 games up in the standings.
Yeah.
We're already
And it
locked
won't
in
matter.
for a #1 seed.
So
Yeah.
we
You
don't
know,
care.
but if we're not, it doesn't matter. We're
Doesn't
still going to
matter.
go in there.
And you're still gonna play him.
Yep.
I mean, think about it. Think about the Texas game at Oklahoma this year, right? It's a rivalry game. Texas went in there ranked in the top 5, came out not ranked in the top 5 because they got mollywopped because it's
Yeah.
a rivalry game.
Yeah. You never know what's going to
You know,
happen in robbery games.
In a rivalry game, that's like when what is it? Like I said, when Louisville plays Kentucky because it's in state,
Yeah.
it's a rivalry game. You know, because you're not playing for stats, you're playing for pride and the fact that you can talk smack. Yeah, I beat you. I remember that. Oh, you didn't beat us when I was there. We
Right.
beat you guys 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
And then how would you even define, because we do talk about games like this.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a rivalry and a big game? And the example I'm going to use is for rivalry purposes, UNC Duke.
Mhm.
But for a big game, you know, in Madison Square Garden, we do play Duke sometimes as a Kentucky fan. But that's not necessarily a rivalry.
Yeah. Big games are
So how do you?
two named teams playing
Yeah.
a lot of times on a neutral floor, 2 ranked teams playing, or like you're the first team All-American candidate. I'm a first team All-American candidate. They're going head to head.
Right.
You might be the first pick in the draft. I might be the first pick in the draft. They're going head to head. That's the
Yeah,
difference.
who was the kid that remember who was it? He was at Kentucky. And I can't remember his name. But he said he was going against the best guard in the country. And he went off.
De'Aaron Fox and Lonzo Ball.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He made Lonzo look like he wasn't even on the court.
Yeah.
He had a great game.
He had a great game. He was just like, I'm going to show you I'm better than this cat.
But De'Aaron, again, he's not like he was some walk-on.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, but he did.
But he put
He
on.
showed you who
showed
he
you
was.
who he was.
And he
Yeah,
had a lot of
again.
people doubting,
Yeah.
man, maybe we should take him
Yeah,
instead of Lonzo.
exactly.
Yes, and again, that's what big game versus rivalry, right? 2 All-Americans, like I said, when he said that came to mind because I watched that game. I was like, ooh, I want to see this.
Yeah.
And when he went off, he was just like, oh, you ain't playing well
Yeah.
enough.
And he would always guard him.
He would guard him. He said, I want him, man, mano a mano, and they did their thing, and De'Aaron, like I said, he balled out.
Yeah.
You know, so it was real to me. I enjoyed the game. You know, I had no
Feelings toward
feelings
either
either
team.
team, but like I said, that was a good game to me. I mean, to me, that's the difference between a big game and a rivalry.
Yeah.
You know, again, you get up to play your your quote unquote enemy.
Yep.
Right. Even in what is it that October is the month they have all the rivalries in football. Right. Literally, because that's when you get into the media conference schedule, and that's when, even for football, Duke plays Carolina. That's when NC State gets into the mix
Yeah.
playing football. And this is just North Carolina sports. You know, for the SEC, it's the same thing. Think about it. It's Auburn versus Alabama, right?
Mhm.
Everybody talks about that, the Iron Bowl.
Yep.
Right? Or we talk about the Egg Bowl for Mississippi State and Ole Miss. So there's always those rivalry games in state. They don't care what your record is,
Yeah, you still gonna play.
you know.
And you gotta think, even when they schedule those games, the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Is always, if you can schedule it, a rivalry.
Mhm.
So like, you don't play Alabama, Auburn, game 2 of the season.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the season.
When
Or,
things on the
you know,
line.
But again, sometimes you got multiple rivals.
Yeah.
So you can't play them all last, so
Right.
you gotta,
You gotta
you know,
switch it up and put it throughout.
Gotta plan it
Exactly.
all the way
but
out.
there's certain games that are always in the same place.
Yeah.
You know, and,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because y'all talked about the rescheduling of the conferences
Yeah.
for football. So, I mean, could it be
Well, you
that
do-
now that
Well, you do.
schools are gonna start
Well, see,
to make a new rivalry? Can you do that?
You can,
it
but
just takes a minute.
it just takes a while. You know, something has to happen where it sets off the fan base. You know, for example, right, in like when Saban, you know, the rivalry is so intense between Alabama and Auburn that when Saban announced his retirement, they went through, they did their traditional victory thing, which was they threw, you
The
know,
toilet paper
paper
rolls,
all
yeah.
over the place. You know, that's a rivalry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, something has to.
That's what I'm saying.
start-
Something has
yeah,
to brew.
Something has to brew.
And I feel like,
And sometimes, you know, when you look at, it's like some people when they say, "Oh, we're your rivals," and you pull up the record, and it's like, no, you're not our rivals,
yeah,
dude. We beat you 87 times. You won 30.
Yeah.
You're not right. This is not.
So,
rivalry.
so again, that counts with like some new people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But Carolina, NC State.
Yeah.
Also another rival. When I
Yeah.
was at Carolina, the fight song
Mhm.
at the end of it, we didn't talk about Duke.
Mhm.
It was State.
Mhm.
Now when they do it, they talk about Duke.
Duke.
Yeah.
But, you know, for a long time, State was the primary rival.
Yeah.
Duke was the little brother. You know, then it changed and became Duke Carolina as the giant thing we have now. But if you ask a Carolina student and they do the fight song at the end of it, you can tell how old they are based on what they say at the end of it. Now, a lot of people say Duke now.
Yeah.
But when I was there, at the end of it, it was
NC State. But that
NC
was-
State.
it's funny because I
Way
think
back
Theo
then.
Pinson, old UNC alumni, he was asking, I don't remember which teammate it was, but who did he hate more, Duke or NC State? And he ended up, the guy ended up saying that, you know, hates both, but he ends up having respect for Duke and ends up hating NC State even more. So even with the UNC Duke rivalry, because Coach K is not there, because Roy's not there, I know that's a part of the history as well.
Mhm.
And we talked about brewing.
Yeah.
Does it need to, not that you want to start an altercation, but does it need to be some brewing between Davidson and
No,
Dyer?
it'll come.
or-
See, the thing about that is it'll come. You know, you'll have your Montross moment. You'll have your, you know, Leitner moment. You'll have your Hurley moment. You'll have moments with all of them. I mean, and that's what makes it such a great rivalry because you can reach back through time and say, this happened on this day. See, that's why the media loves it because they can go back to the bloody nose
Yeah,
and point to it, and they can go back even further and talk about how Duke beat
oh yeah, with
best team in the country
with
when we
Rivers
had-
and that shot.
when we had
don't mention it.
yeah, when we had we had Sheed. Oh my God, we had the names they're there, but they won't come.
Stackhouse,
Yeah,
Rasheed.
yeah, we had Rashid Stackhouse. I mean, good God, we had an NBA team
Yeah.
and we lost. So, you know, so those things, I mean, like I said, those things that makes the rivalry great when you can reach back across decades.
Yeah,
You know, and again, that's what makes it fun. Because, you know, especially if you know, if it's a real North Carolina or Duke historian, oh, they will pop off names of guys. You're going, dude, I'm only 50.
Yeah.
Oh, they're back in 1980, you know, back in
Yeah.
1954.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I was talking to a gentleman the other day and he was telling me about this giant fight that broke out
Yeah.
when he was in school in the
I
seventies.
remember, I remember.
Yeah.
He was telling, he said, but nobody wrote about it.
Yeah, because back then he just kept it moving, right?
He said,
Um,
yeah, he said they fought.
I don't think he said he don't think anybody got suspended or anything.
Yeah.
He said
If
after
it
the
happened,
game-
it was over and
Yeah,
he
after
kept
the
it
game,
moving.
they all fought.
But
Okay.
but that's the thing. A rivalry
Mhm.
like that, it's never gonna die.
Yeah.
As long as you keep playing the game.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, doesn't matter who the point guard is,
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the records are, doesn't matter what the rankings are,
Yeah.
doesn't matter who the coaches are.
Right.
Those are always gonna be there. Now you can get new rivalries as you go,
Yeah.
because like, for example, you know, a team that wasn't good and
Gets
then they
good.
get good and then they
Yeah.
knock you off. Now all of a sudden they feel like they're on the same page as you.
Right.
You may still treat them like they're your little brother,
Brothers.
Yeah, but
you know,
Now
but
they feel like they're
but-
relevant.
yeah, because I'll tell you, like, for example, speaking of App,
yeah,
they love when they get a chance to play UNC.
yeah, buddy.
And one of the reasons why UNC doesn't play them that often is
we good.
because
'Cause we're
it's
good.
look, it benefits you to beat us.
But
It
not,
don't benefit us to beat you.
Yeah.
And it can happen very easily. A
yeah,
couple years ago, man, what was that game?
yeah. Hold up,
Like,
no, two years in a row, we scored over like 120 points
yeah,
and
it was,
lost in overtime.
yeah, it was crazy.
Score 61-60. What are they
Yeah.
playing? No defense?
Yeah,
I
but
thought it
that
was
was,
a basketball score.
yeah, but that was crazy. But like I said, those games never gonna go away.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up, I was a Lakers fan,
Yep,
and it was Lakers Celtics,
yep,
you know, in the 80s.
yep.
And that was like the giant rivalry. You got the Yankees and the Red Sox. You
Yep.
know, you got,
Pennant,
you know,
yeah.
all of these, you know, just historic to go back,
Yep.
you know, just decades and decades and decades. And, you know, like I said, those keep going.
Yep.
So,
Go to this day.
Which teams? Let's talk about professional sports and rivalries and things like that. Which teams still push that culture of, like, you know, we're gonna have this culture of, like, we don't like this team still. We would never like this team.
See, I don't know.
Even we could even do collegiate.
Well, collegiate's a little easier to
Yeah.
do, but like I said, far as professional, because to me, the atmosphere has changed because they train together. So they build
In the offseason.
in the offseason, so they build a relationship. It's hard for me to hate you if I really know you. It's easy, and I say hate as in a sport
sports context,
sports
yeah.
context, not hate as a person. You know, it's easier for me to, you know, I'll give you an example. Okay, so this is football. My man was like, "How did you prepare for Larry Fitzgerald?" He said, "Dude, it's hard to prepare for the guy because he's just so likable." So he was saying, you know, how do you prepare for Larry Fitzgerald? And he's like, man, it's really hard because he's such a likable guy. You know, he said, you'll be talking trash to him. And he'll be like, yo, man, how's the kids and wife? You know, and you'll be like, what? You know, then he runs his route and be like, oh man, that was great coverage, man. I like it. I like it. And you're like, dude, this is a rivalry game. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, so he's, you know, it's hard, you know, back in the day, i.e. you go back to the, you know, you didn't have a lot of free agency, number one. That's why, you know, you don't have a lot of mixing of teams. Normally when a guy was on the team, he was a life. You know, and again, that's another aspect that has changed. So
Yeah.
when you talk about rivalries professionally, you think about it. I would, Lakers and Celtics, I don't know if any Laker would have gone to the Celtics back then.
Back then, brother.
I said back then. Now, different story. You know, literally like the bad boys of Detroit, right?
Yeah.
You know, none of them were gonna go to the Lakers, you know, even though Rodman did later. You know, I'm just saying. That's the type of, you know, so I don't know if we have those type of rivalries
Mhm.
anymore, where it's just literally like, I can't stand those guys, you know, because again, we talked about it kind of on our last episode where, you know, you could see where Steph and LeBron were going at it and they were really balling, but at the game, they were like, hey man, okay, cool.
True.
What? You know, so the word rivalry doesn't mean the same as it did back in the day. You know, they would dap up, but they would be like, I'm out. You're not getting my shirt unless you go to an auction and buy it yourself.
So you're saying like that life itself is kind of
Yeah,
now intertwined
Yeah,
with
it's in the time
sports.
with sports, you know, so I mean, so like I said, they train together. I mean, literally, they go to the same facilities, they train, they talk, they eat, they go out. You know,
One thing about it, they had the same agents a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I know the big thing was even the speculation is still now, like, does Draymond want to get out from Golden State? Because, you know, Draymond and Bron are boys, or
yeah,
it's now seen that they are more closer than, you know,
yeah. I mean,
what the case may be.
yeah, see, and that's, and again, with, you know, with the onset of social media, you know, there's very little, I mean, so back then, when we didn't have these wonderful things, you know, everything was a little more secluded and, you know, a little more segregated as far as me working with this guy or that guy. You know, now that I can get on whatever and I can message Brown, hey, Brown, I'm going to Cabo to train you down.
Yeah,
Or hey, Tatum, I'm gonna be in your town, you know, before the game, let's grab a bite to eat. You know, and they do stuff like that.
And people did that. Let's not get it twisted. People
Yeah.
did that back in the day too.
Yeah.
Jordan was playing golf with dudes.
yeah.
Some of it was gamesmanship. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna keep you out all night.
Yeah.
And then you don't get all the time the next day.
Cause you gotta go RB.
Yeah. But you know, people did it back then too. Again,
Yeah.
it's way more common now.
Yeah.
But I think the rivalry part of it is still like the team, right?
Yeah.
So like the NFL, you got the Raiders and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like they hate each other, right?
Uh,
And the fan bases keep that going.
Yeah.
Even if the players are cool with each other, Raiders, Chiefs comes up and oh, we hate them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cowboys, Washington.
That
I
was-
grew up, that was probably my biggest one.
Yep.
Because I was a Cowboy fan.
Mhm.
Everybody else was Washington fans. And so that was a heated one.
Yeah. Oh, you got plenty.
It changes a little bit, but you still, Packers, Bears, these still
Yeah.
got the ones that are still big, even when the teams aren't that great, they still try to bill them and advertise them as the big rivalry. Because again, like you were saying, you can go back into the history and
Yeah.
show, maybe the last couple of years, neither team's been very good, but 15 years ago,
Yeah.
remember this game, remember this hit, remember this.
Yep.
Yeah.
so does that come from the significance? Is it more on the players or is it more on the fans to
I
keep
think
that?
it's- Well,
keep that
I
going?
think it's a little bit of both. I mean, you think about like, okay, we talk about Pittsburgh, right? What was that crazy guy, Harrison? Not Harrison.
Yeah, James Harrison.
James
Yeah.
Harrison. Dude, he kept every rival. You know, when Pittsburgh played Cincinnati and Burfict hit my man and gave him a concussion, that spawned more what? The rivalry between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. And the fans were like, ooh, that was an ugly hit, good hit, good hit.
Yeah.
So there's always gonna be things that fuel the fires for rivalries.
But see, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But that's one of the things about the NFL
Mhm.
is you've got the divisions.
Yeah.
And the divisions are small and they always play each other twice.
Yeah.
So you're gonna mix it up and play these other teams, the other 8 games, but you're gonna play, if you're in the NFC East, you're playing Washington twice, playing the Giants
Philly.
twice, playing Philly twice. And those are rivalries. And
Mhm.
so I think in the NFL, it's easier to keep the rivalries going because you're playing these teams
Yeah, versus.
all the time.
Yeah, versus in college where they're doing this massive realignment.
Yeah. And the ADs get together
Yeah.
to schedule,
Schedule.
who you're gonna get and who you're gonna get and so then you'll get your conference, but you might not play everybody because they're so big. And if, again, Texas and Oklahoma are in the same conference, but maybe they schedule it where you don't play each other every time. I don't know. That'll be a shame, I think. But
Mhm.
whenever they do play,
Oh, it's gonna be on.
it'll be on.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe it makes it even more when you don't play every year. I don't know. But I feel like if you let it go too long, it's gonna
Yeah.
burn out.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be the same.
Well, it'll be like this. Okay, does anybody really care if Yale plays Brown? It's a rivalry to somebody.
I mean,
Or what
people-
Princeton plays
well,
Harvard.
people that go to Princeton and
Yeah,
people that go to
I'm saying,
Harvard.
but I'm just saying, but on a national scale, do
Yeah,
we
no.
really go, huh?
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
oh, I play,
Yeah.
Brown in the Ivy League schools, because back in the day, those were big rivalries,
Mm.
right? They were, back when it was black and white, literally on the photo, and they had the little, whatever, football with no mask. Ooh, but so all I'm saying is, you don't want, like you said, you don't want to go too long without playing your rival, because again, it doesn't become a rivalry.
Rivalry no more.
So, but with that said, I think another thing that is changing is the NIL that's causing all this to change.
Yes.
Even, I mean, from a coaching standpoint to, oh my God, to advertising, to the kids nowadays, it's insane.
And a lot of people are like,
Mhm.
old school people are like, oh, they're just ruining the game.
Yeah.
Kids should be amateurs. They should go to school. I mean, that mentality is so far away that you might as well be saying, teams shouldn't be integrated. I mean, that's how far we've come,
I
right?
want that car. Give me a horse.
That ship is
Really,
sailed.
literally asking for anything.
Yeah.
That ship is sailed, right?
Yeah.
Now they're going to try to figure out ways to rein it in,
Yes, they are.
but from the dawn of time, if you're the star high school athlete and I'm a booster and I got money and I want you to come to my school, I'm trying to take care of you, your family, whatever I got to do to get you.
Mhm.
It's just been under the table.
Yeah.
And then the colleges and the universities are making money selling your jersey. It doesn't have your name on the
Your
back, but
likeness.
they know who it is,
They
right?
know what number that represents.
Exactly.
Number
And-
5.
Yeah.
And so again, I think we've talked,
Number 2.
yeah, we've talked about this on other shows, I think,
Yeah.
but I don't have a problem with NIL.
Well, no, I don't. Like, I said, I think
Um,
the rules are gonna change. I mean, they're gonna have to really change the rules because we all know what cash is king.
Yeah.
You know, and they're gonna have to figure out who's paying you. Is it the collective from the school that's getting you NIL deals, or are you doing this on your own? See, and that's gonna be the tricky part.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you got 2 million followers, I can do a deal with whatever, McDonald's, Bojangles, the cookie shop around the corner.
Especially if it's local.
Yeah,
You know,
if
you're
it's
starting to get local business
Yeah.
supporting kids now in their local towns and stuff like that.
You know, that's gonna be hard, because how do you tell, well, basically, here's the worst scenario ever. Right? Or, you know, one of the ones that I'm sure they think about. All right, yeah, you got 2 million followers, but I really want you to come to Alabama. I'm an Alabama booster. I'm gonna give you a deal, and I'm just gonna say, hey, I'll make up a company. I'm gonna give you the money so you can come to Alabama. But you're making money from social media,
see,
right?
again,
Yeah.
the way it's supposed to work
I know how it's supposed to.
is that, you're the booster,
Yeah.
you own a car dealership,
Yeah.
you say, hey,
That's how it's supposed to.
I'm gonna get you. So if as long as they keep doing that, nobody cares. I don't care if you pay me $2 million to be on a commercial for your car dealership. That's the way it's supposed to be, because they're not paying me, Joe Blow off the street, to do that.
Right.
The only reason they're doing that for me is because, one, it's a mutual thing.
Yeah.
I'm coming to your school that you love.
Yeah.
And I'm recognizable enough where people are gonna see me at your business and maybe want to come. And
Buy a car.
so again,
Or come with
it's a
cookies.
mutual thing. Back in the day, it was just one-sided.
Oh,
And again, especially, that's why the NCAA doesn't like NIL, because one, they don't have any control over it.
none.
One, they don't have that they're not getting a piece of that money. Again, they're gonna work on it. They're gonna try to figure it out where, who knows, maybe they say, okay, we get 2% of any deal you make.
Two.
I'm just saying,
Maybe
Yeah.
30.
whatever.
It's 30.
If you think about it, and then, I get representation.
Yeah.
And I say, nah, you're only getting 0.5%,
Mhm.
and then you just work out your deals that way.
It's gonna be.
Again, if it's done correctly, I don't have a problem with it. If the student athlete can benefit on this limited window that they might have to
Yeah,
be
very-
famous
yeah.
and to be a star and to capitalize on their, popularity,
Mhm.
I got no problem with it. Maybe it teaches them, about money and business and
Mhm.
how to become an entrepreneur
Yeah.
and to know that there's more than just the sport.
Yeah.
I got no problem with it.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of old school dudes are like, and that's why a lot of coaches are leaving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not going.
Because
for it.
they're not ready
Not
for
ready,
that,
you
to
know,
give
like
up
I
that control.
But see,
you
that,
know.
that goes to that's on all levels, right? If you look at,
Yeah, because they just passed it with the private schools.
they passed that with the private schools, so you can basically, you're
In high school.
in high school in North Carolina. But, again, that reflects to what we always talk about, which is, why are these old greats not able to relate to these younger players? That's because they're on social media, they're already making money. I mean, think about it. Caleb Williams is already making money. So when he signed his rookie deal, or Marvin Harrison, who was actually offered almost an NFL contract for 1 year to stay, right? I mean, how do you tell a kid, oh, I'm sorry, I got 70 million followers, I got to deal with Pepsi, Coke, and whoever. Now, oh, I'm not gonna play you. Man, no problem. He gonna put you on play. Yo, coach said I ain't playing today.
Mhm.
Well, here's the thing. The coach
You know?
needs to win as much as anybody else does. And
Yeah.
we talked about this before too.
Yeah, he does.
If you got 70 million followers,
He-
but you're still the best quarterback on the squad,
he playing.
guess what? You playing.
Yeah.
And if I don't play you and we lose, guess what? Somebody else
Yeah.
will be there next year.
Yeah.
And you got 70 million angry people.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why,
Exactly.
look, that's why the Swifties won that game. When-
Hey, again, don't talk about Swifties.
They are technically writing the script, so if Taylor happens to show up at halftime,
We know,
you know why.
We'll talk about how that's gonna go down a little bit, cause I've already got, like last week, I got an update. I got an update for this week. We can do that at the end if you want. We can talk about it next week.
We'll talk about next week. It'll be a surprise.
Yes.
but what information did we happen to gather for NIL,
Well-
being passed in private schools and high school in North Carolina?
Well, okay, so I did a little bit of reading on it. So the NIL deal itself, of course, came back. This all started with Ed O'Bannon and Charlie Ward back in the day because, of course, UCLA, Florida State were selling their jerseys, their, faces on credit, likeness on a credit card, and they were saying, hey, I didn't give you permission to do that. So basically it went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, hey, you deserve to get paid even in your amateur status because they are using your name, your likeness, and
Mhm.
images to get paid at these colleges. So a temporary stay was basically placed with all the colleges. So they're still amateur. Athletes in college and high school are still considered amateurs, but it depends on the state you're in.
Okay.
Right, so North Carolina's legislation decided that no, public schools were not gonna do that, so it's
Right.
only for private schools, so you can be in Texas and get an NIL deal if it's permittable at a public school, but you have to make sure, and this is for everybody or any athlete out there looking to do this, make sure it's legal in your state, because if it's illegal in your state to get an NIL deal, you forego your college eligibility.
Mm.
So, so you can make money again from your own name, image, and likeness, but you have to be extremely careful and you have to navigate because, like you said, you got to hit when the iron's hot, but you got to make sure you can parlay this into something else.
There's gonna be, I'm afraid there's gonna be a lot of kids that don't pay attention to that,
Yeah.
that go out and do their own thing
Mhm.
and make a bunch of money and then get ready to sign.
Can't-
Oh, guess what? You're ineligible.
Mhm.
I mean, that'll be a shame, but I can
Yeah.
see that happening if that's the
It'll
way.
happen, it'll happen, it
Yeah.
will, but, but it's, I think that's the way it's moving toward. I mean, it's gonna be hard to, in my opinion, I'm for it, like I said, after being a student athlete, everybody says it's easy, it's not easy.
At all.
Anybody that's been an athlete will tell you it is not easy in college, maybe easy in high school, but, it may be different now. Because you train all year,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what you do in college, you train all year. So again, you train all year as a collegiate athlete, I mean, even in the summer, you're training.
Yeah.
So there is no relief, everybody says, oh, you go get a job in the summertime. What job's gonna give me if I get a construction job? I'm working, then I gotta train in the evening so I can be ready to come back, just like with basketball. The games don't start until what? Thanksgiving?
Mhm.
So you're training when you get on campus. And like I said, this, you were involved with athletics. There's study hall, there's training table, there's weightlifting, then there's all the wonderful tape study.
Yeah.
So, and it's a job. People don't realize it. It's a literal job.
That's the thing. People that talk about, one, I just think they're coming in from an ignorant standpoint because they
Yeah.
just don't know.
Yeah.
That, and again, I was not a collegiate athlete. I was a manager,
Yeah, but you were.
right?
yeah,
And I
but
was,
that-
but I was around the game.
That gives you insight into the life.
Right, but when I was in school, I could wake up whatever time I wanted to wake up. If I wanted to go to class, I went to class. If I didn't go to class, it was on me. I didn't go to class. These guys are getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go work out. Then they're going to eat breakfast. Then they're going to class. Then they're going back to work out. Then they got study hall. Then they got lifting.
Yeah.
Then they got practice. Then they
Got
still
tape.
got to study. Then you got to watch film.
And let's not talk about the guys that have all these deals where now they gotta go out there and do the extra
Yeah,
stuff to
so
maintain
on
them.
Friday, you gotta go. out
Photo
there.
shoots,
Yep.
meetings,
Yep.
all those things like you were saying. That's a lot.
It's a lot,
But even before the NIL stuff, yes, you got a scholarship.
Mhm.
You were working your butt off for that
you
scholarship.
have to keep it.
It was not, it's a 1-year renewable deal. That's the other thing people don't realize. They think you sign as a high school senior or junior or whatever, that gives you 4 years. No, it's a 1 year renewable scholarship, which means it might not be there the next year. It might be gone.
Go.
And so, you know, I'm all for, again,
Yeah.
you know, these athletes are bringing in so much money for the university. You know, the football team, you know, is funding all the other sports. They're funding the math department, the science department in a lot of cases. You know, people want to go there because of the football team or because of, you know, the sports. And that feeds the rest of the university. So anybody, you know, that wants to say, again, I think you're just jealousy, and it's an old school mindset that, you know, all these kids don't deserve all that. And, you know, again, you know, nobody's going to tell you, you go to your job and you're bringing all this value to your company.
You don't deserve a raise.
And they don't. Yeah, exactly.
Like, what did you say to me?
Look what we're giving. Look at what we're giving you. We're giving you a company car.
Yeah.
Why should we give you a raise? Why
Is
should
it a
you?
Bugatti?
Right. Right.
Because I'm selling it on eBay.
With this NIL, I'm curious. Could it, since it's for private schools, could it possibly, the money that you earn, let's just say that person is that kid's good, could it possibly help them pay for school, or is that just extra money in his
Well,
pocket?
the people that they're talking about, you know, you have to then repay your scholarship, or
Okay.
you have to pay your own way. Depending, you know, again, they're working on that stuff.
Yeah, see, that'll be part of the rule changes.
Okay.
You know, like I said, right now it's pretty wide open. It's like the wild, wild west. Everybody, so you better get it while you can,
Yeah.
because you know, it's never the same, right? It was like, okay, this goes way back to the slush fund of you know, back then when SMU had the Pony Express, right? So they made all these violations and they made all these rule changes to make sure nobody does it again. So right now, they don't know what to do because it's so wide open, but as they move forward, there's a bunch, I can tell you right now, I
Those
guarantee
guidelines.
you, there's a bunch of guys in the room trying to figure out what the guidelines are.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Always, you know, and it's gonna be centered around, like you said, it's gonna be, okay, if you come to this school, and you make over $2 million, you gotta repay your scholarship. It's gonna be something in there like that, you know, or if you do this, you know, let's say, again, I sign an NIL deal for Bojangles, and they're gonna pay me $100,000 a month to get up and talk about Bojangles before the game or put a banner behind me. You know, school's probably gonna say, well, you're making $100K, you know, you're actually really, quote unquote, don't need to be living on campus, in campus housing, because you basically are making $100,000. And again, I'm being really crazy with it, $100,000 a month, so you can afford your own stuff.
Yeah.
Right, so, and so basically, i.e., you're almost in a professional status, you know, so I think it's gonna be really interesting to see what kind of rules they come up with. But for the high school level, I think it's gonna be very interesting to see how these private schools recruit these athletes to come.
Yeah.
Because think about it, if I'm at the local high school and I got Latter-day Saints Christian school saying, hey, you know what? You come over here, you can make some money. You know, hey, if I'm making a couple $100 a week, that's more than I'm making.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm just doing posts.
And then it, like Alan said, it goes back to,
Yeah.
and it's, to what we all were saying.
Yeah.
It goes back to a student athlete. That's
Yeah.
hard. That's not
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
So why not go to somewhere where I may not have to go outside of school and get an actual job and interfere with my schedule, my day, getting paid to do what I like.
Yeah, 'cause you can do
and
whatever. From right here, you can do whatever you need to do. Hey, you can go to Bojangles, buy one, get one.
yeah.
Hey, you can go over to Silly Sally's and pick up a cookie.
But you think about it, there's always been a divide between public schools and private
Private,
schools
yeah,
anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, to me, that's not even that different, except for now you just adding another piece to that puzzle. You know, that's why you see a lot of, if you look at and again, I don't have the exact stats for this, but look at basketball, for example. I won't say most, but I would say if you looked at it, a lot of these guys that are the top guys, they might be from Austin, Texas. They're going to school in California,
Yeah.
or they're going to Florida, some
Yeah.
prep schools
These
or
big
some
prep
private
schools,
schools
yep.
or wherever.
So, and you know,
So people are already doing that. And if I'm, a kid from the street, but I just happen to be the best high school basketball player in the country,
They're gonna get me.
how did I afford to get there exactly?
Somebody.
How did I afford to move across country?
Well,
And look, my parents are there too. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't.
Reggie Bush.
People always make a way.
Reggie Bush.
See, and I feel bad for Reggie because he got just destroyed
Yeah,
for
he
that,
did.
lost his Heisman,
Yeah.
and now everything he did would
Everybody's
be,
doing.
yeah, everybody's doing, yeah. So he's sort of vindicated with that.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I give it to him. I look, I ain't mad at him.
Regarding the NIL money and disregarding it, what about statuses? I know that's one thing we want to talk about, like what is
About
the
stardom
status? Yeah, for
status?
stardoms, yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I'll say this, I think it's an uneven playing field because more or less in today's market, it's about clicks. I mean, I'm not gonna, okay, Embiid hurt his knee, I'm clicking. Because the man just scored 50, 70, well, I'm clicking. Oh my God, he's out for the season again. LeBron is fifth year's option not being picked up. I'm looking. Oh, who was that guy that scored 50 that we said a couple weeks ago? And we were like, who's that?
40, PJ Washington.
PJ Washington. You're like, huh? Am I clicking on that? I'm just saying.
But see, here's the-
I'm just saying, no, as a casual fan, this name scrolls across the bottle. Oh, I'm not,
Yeah,
LeBron's
like,
scrolling
because it's odd.
Yeah, 'cause it's odd, but LeBron name scrolls across the bottom, or Kawhi Leonard, or or KD, or
Mhm.
those guys. Oh my God, you just caught LeBron out on the beach with who?
Yeah,
So there's levels to this, and sometimes it's fair, sometimes it's not, in my opinion.
but yeah, but it's like this, like, so like there's always been the news, right? The
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
And the media doesn't make a dime unless you read or watch what they put out.
Yep.
And so the more interesting, the more sensational they can put stuff, which is why I like your TMZs
Yeah.
and your National Enquirers, back in the day,
Oh yeah.
those magazines where you'd be in the grocery store, somebody's face is plastered on the front of it. People were reading it or buying it. You didn't know if it was true or not because it would be some crazy stuff.
right.
So-and-so celebrity abducted by aliens. And you're like, what?
What, really?
But nowadays everybody's got a phone.
Yeah.
Everybody can tweet. So if I see you out doing something, I can tweet it.
Yep.
And then I'm getting those clicks,
Yeah.
not NBC News.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's their own reporter now.
Yeah.
And so like, that's why when you see, something happen, the first thing people do is they record it
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then they post it
Yeah.
because they want you to get it from them. They want to get,
Everybody want to be first.
yeah.
Be first. So,
Yeah.
so it's unfair, so of course you're going to go after whatever gets you the most views. And again, some people get, what's like washed out with that. Because you're going, because again, there's talent everywhere.
Yeah.
When it comes to athletics, but unfortunately, if you're not getting clicked views, then you basically become irrelevant. Like I think there was a guy, he's looking for his 10th year in the league. I can't remember his
I
name.
saw that. Yeah,
And he
Tony
want-
Snell.
Yeah, he's got $52 million and he's asking for help, and everybody's going, "You got $52 million."
So this was crazy. This was crazy, right? So I saw the first. I hadn't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
I saw a thing from, I think it was Charles Barkley was
Yeah.
saying. So what it is, if you're not familiar, Tony Snell is an NBA veteran.
Mhm.
He's not currently in the NBA.
It's in the D
He's
League.
got 9. He's not even that. He's playing
Okay.
somewhere else, I think. But he's got 9 years in, right? And the rules in the NBA are once you get 10 years, then you're able to get, I guess, lifetime like
Yeah, like
insurance,
Okay.
right, for your family. And evidently he's got 2 kids with autism, or one that's I forget, but he's got his kids have some issues. So Charles Barkley goes on and says, this would be great for some. I guess he had reached out and said, I'm gonna need this. Charles Barkley was like, the NBA should help him out. Somebody should sign him. And then the comments started just flowing. People were looking into his finances.
Yeah.
This dude's worth X million dollars. People, regular people that make $20,000 a year are dealing with this same thing every year. We're not asking for anybody, but you got this dude asking. So I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that kind of went south, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because when I heard the first thing, I was like, oh man, that's messed up.
So sad.
I hope somebody signs him. But then the internet, people started saying, hold up,
Undefeated research.
yo, And so I think it has backfired on him now. So, maybe the NBA, somebody signs him. But maybe they're like, maybe
Well, I
not.
think I don't think they should have put it out like that. I think there's always ways to get around things. And I think going to the internet is never viable, especially when, like I said, because they can be vicious, man.
I don't know. I think going to the internet is the way to get what you want out there.
Mhm.
Unless you got something, because it's always the other stuff's going to come
The
out.
other stuff, yeah, like I was saying, if you don't want certain stuff coming out, don't do it.
See, but I don't think he thought that. I think he thought
He was going
it's a great story.
Mhm.
I need 1 year. I'm a journeyman. Sign me for the rest of this year.
call
No
Me and my
negativity
family
with his
good.
name.
call your agent,
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude.
bruh. I just need to be on the bench till the end of the season. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I will sign for the veteran minimum.
I'm sure he's been doing that though, and that's why he's playing. They say he's playing in like high school gyms or something,
Yeah.
whatever league he's in. And I guess again, you put it out there. Who knows if it was even him to put it out there? It might have been
True.
somebody, a family member, or
Yeah,
somebody.
like I said, but it was, yeah, like I said, they were pretty vicious. The one I saw,
No, they were really they were going
vicious.
in.
They were like, yo, you $52 million lifetime, bro. What? You can't afford it. What? You
Yeah.
can't afford this. You can set up. I get it. You can set up what do you call it? Not a mutual fund. A trust. Not a trust.
No, the
it's
little
like,
fund online.
No,
not
they
that
don't
one.
do that. We ain't talking about what do you call it?
GoFund.
GoFundMe. No, not so much GoFund, but this is more or less like offbeat, but more or less in a financial realm where you set up a reoccurring kind of an annuity to pay your insurance bills with $52 million.
Well, I mean, I get it. I mean,
I
just
get
like a lot of athletes,
Yeah.
he probably wasn't thinking he was going to have kids, and then he ends up having kids years down the road,
Yeah.
and they have health issues, and he's like, man, this would be so much easier
If I
if
did
I
that
had
one more year.
healthcare.
Yeah.
It would be. I mean, I
I
get
get
it. I get it, but oof, like I
Again,
said,
it backfired.
like I
Let's just
said,
say.
you don't want it out
Yeah.
there because
Yeah.
they will be they dig into your
Yeah. That'd be like me going out here and getting online and crying that I'm in such bad shape. And then last night they post me at the club throwing,
Right.
they post you
making
at
it rain.
They post you at the Carolina game
Yeah,
when the tickets are 10 grand.
right, exactly. I'm on the front row.
How about
Yeah.
let's do this?
And the next day I'm like, please help me.
Because I spent my rent money.
So with a little topic change, I definitely want you to give the fans a little definition that we've talked about. And this is the all-stars, all this and that. Can you please give them your definition of what an all-star is, what a superstar is, and things like that in the league, in the NBA?
Okay, so this is the way I look at it. So let's just go NBA, right? You can go any sport you want. There's different tiers. Right? There's you can name it what you want, but the top tier, let's just say megastar, right? In the league right now, playing now, I say there's only two megastars. Now, when I say megastar, let me give you the definition. This is my definition, the AJ Star definition. All right. Grandma on the street knows who you are. If I show his picture or if I say his name, grandma who doesn't watch basketball knows who you are. The 7-year-old knows who you are. The 80-year-old knows who you are. The grandma, whoever, right?
Yeah.
The clear one is LeBron James,
Yeah.
right? And you can think about history, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaq. Those are megastars. It's not just how you play on the court. And that's what people forget. It's not just how you play on the court when you get to that level.
Yeah.
It's, are you in commercials? Are you in movies?
Yep.
Do you have record deals? Are you everywhere?
Yep.
And if you're not, and somebody names your name, they still know who you are.
So
that's mega star.
So let me stop you right quick. So right now for the Eastern Conference, we have the roster. We have the starters. Giannis.
Let me give you the other tiers real quick.
And let
before
me
you
see
do
who would be a megastar out of this.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I just named none of them.
Right.
LeBron James is the only starter that's a megastar on the East or West.
On West.
All right, and
Correct.
I'll let you hit him in a second.
Go ahead.
He's not starting.
Nope, he's not starting.
What?
Yes, he's not starting.
Now, and honestly, Steph is borderline.
Nigga.
Because I don't know that grandma knows Steph Curry the way
right.
they know LeBron James. So he might not even be megastar, right?
He might be.
He's close.
right.
But then you got superstar,
Mhm.
right?
It's just-
Superstar, you got a few commercials, you're great at your craft,
Gotta shoot.
and you got a shoe, people know who you are, but it's a big gap between mega and super.
Uh-huh.
Most of those dudes you about to name, a lot of those are superstars.
Then you have to.
Then you got your all-stars and your stars, right? Those are, I'm really good at my sport. People that love the NBA know who I am. That's about the extent of it, right? So if you go through that list, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's only one megastar, and people will say, "Oh, he's not even." Doesn't have anything to do with it. Well, it has a little bit to do with your on the court or on the field status performance. Okay, go ahead.
So we got
So for Eastern Conference,
Giannis,
the starters, we got
Yeah.
Giannis.
star.
Superstar.
We had Embiid until
He hurt his knee.
he hurt his knee.
Stars.
Tyrese Halliburton
Not even a superstar.
Damian Lillard. and Jason
That's
Tatum.
because his name. Damian
So for
Lillard.
the reserves, they had Bam,
Not even a superstar.
Paulo Banchero,
Not even a superstar.
Jaylen Brown.
Not even a superstar. As
You
much
know,
as-
Jalen Brunson just got into it.
Not even.
Tyrese Maxey,
Not even.
Donovan Mitchell,
Not even.
and they had Julius Randle there, but
Not
obviously he's
even.
hurt right now, so he's replaced.
So look,
They don't
these
even-
dudes.
Hold up, they don't even have Morant.
He's out.
He's out too.
He's out too.
So look,
Right.
So all those dudes are stars.
But see, I know who
Right.
John Morant is because of all the stuff he said
Yeah.
off the court.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
You get credit for that.
See, I know who he is.
But Grandma don't know who John Moran is. He
Right.
bet.
So, Western Conference starters, we have LeBron James.
Mega.
Superstar.
We
Carry
got
the
Luka.
league.
So if you go cross overseas, he might be a mega. I don't even know. I'm gonna say probably not. But because it would have bled over.
Right.
He is a basketball player. In Dallas, he might be on some commercials. Grandma don't know who Luka is.
Yeah.
And if you say who's Luka Doncic, she think I don't speak that language.
Yeah.
I need to talk about it. So, no.
You got you got KD.
So KD is an interesting choice.
Yeah, he's-
Because again,
he's a superstar.
KD's not in commercials.
Yeah.
He's a superstar basketball player, but is he a superstar
And a burn.
in the no, he's not.
Yeah, don't forget his burner Twitter account.
So KD is not a mega star.
No, not even
No, he's not
close.
a mega.
We got SGA.
Not even making the list. Because again, not talking about on the floor, on the court. Grandma don't, he walks in here right now.
Oh, who he is.
I might not know now. I know who he is. Yeah. Grandma don't know who he is.
Then we got the Joker. You got Nikola Jokic.
Now again,
That
his
much.
name is getting bigger, but he's not in commercials. He's not in movies. He doesn't have a social media presence. Part of that's because he doesn't want it,
Yeah.
but he's not flashy. He's not sexy. He's not,
So this is the interesting for the reserves because we've had this discussion. I already know his answer.
Yeah.
Devin Booker.
not even sniffing it unless he gets back with one of them Kardashian girl, the Jenner girl. That'll help him.
You got Curry.
Okay, so he's close to mega, but not even mega. I'm gonna put him mid mega.
Anthony Davis.
Nope,
Anthony Edwards.
not even sniffing it.
Here we go. Who's that?
Is he going to become a superstar?
No. Superstar, yes. Megastar, no.
Because they're gonna need some.
I've never heard Anthony Edwards talk. I've never seen Anthony Edwards. And again, he's got commercials, I'm sure. I'm sure he's done interviews.
Yeah, with Adidas and he got his own shit.
But no, not even close to that level.
Paul George.
No.
This is the interesting
Yeah,
one
no,
because
okay.
we've had this discussion right
Okay.
here on this guy
Okay.
because he doesn't talk. Kawhi Leonard.
Not even close. NBA guys
No.
think he's a superstar. If you're talking about his on the court abilities, a lot of these dudes, you can say they're megastars on the court, but this definition, nope, sorry,
And the last one we got Cat Carl Anthony Towns.
not even close. Not even
Like I
close.
said, like I said, because I get it, because again, if Magic was walking down the street, you know who Magic was back in the day. Bird was walking down the street, you knew.
You hear Magic Johnson, you hear Larry Bird,
You know,
people know who they are.
So how do you, if it was you and you have the blueprint right here in front of you, off your definitions, how do you jump between all-star to a superstar and then superstar to a megastar?
So all-star to superstar is all about your play,
Mhm.
right? And then the better you play, the more attention you're gonna get, and then you get more jersey sales. There was a stat I saw about jersey sales, right? And who's leading that? Again, somebody joked and said, well, LeBron's been in the league for 800 years. If you wanted LeBron jersey, you already got it.
Yeah.
So he might not still, but he's still like third in
Yeah, he's
jersey
still like
sales,
top
right?
30, yeah.
So jersey sales tell how popular you are to NBA fans.
And you have to parlay that.
How many
into-
cans of soup are you selling
Yeah.
to non-NBA fans,
Mhm.
right? How many, who else? You can say what you want about how good you thought the movie was. Anybody making Space Jam 2? Well, anybody making Space Jam but Michael Jordan and LeBron James. There's no Luka Doncic starring in Space Jam. It just,
You ain't cutting no record deals.
so no.
And when you tweet Sports Center in the news, talk about it.
So you talked about all-star going to superstar. What about superstar going to megastar?
That's harder. That's harder because you got to transcend sport, right? You got to get your name out there in so many different ways. One, you got to be so elite.
Yeah.
And then you got to have the other stuff. You know, Michael Jordan is the poster boy for this.
Yeah.
The shoe, people that never even don't know what a basketball is, know what Air Jordans are. They know what
Yeah.
Nike,
Yeah.
you know, McDonald's and Wheaties and Be Like Mike and the commercials and the media. The media has to give you a push.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
get you out
And you
there.
have to have the quote unquote image, speak the right way.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
all that goes into it.
You got to have the personality
you got-
to
you
be
gotta-
able to carry it.
Yeah, you
You
can't
know.
be the recluse in the corner,
Yeah, that's
have to be
that's not going to get it done.
you know, and you, like I said, so you gotta be, and with being a megastar, you're gonna have to put some of your life out there,
Mm.
you know, because that's key.
Especially in the world that,
And especially in today's. world.
yeah.
Back in the day, you didn't have to do so as much, but now you're gonna have to be on all platforms, posting this, showing part of your daily life, you know, because then that's how people relate nowadays. You know, so again, if you gotta give up a piece of yourself is what I'm saying.
Is there any megastars, superstars, all-stars? Obviously there are, but are there any megastars in the NFL?
Oh yeah,
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is a
Patrick
megastar.
Mahomes, Tom Brady was one of them because of winning.
That's currently playing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, oh yeah, that's all. I mean, that's like I said.
Who would be your top
But
three?
here's the thing: it's harder to be a megastar in the NFL
Right.
as you wear a helmet. People don't know your face.
Yeah, they
Um,
know that number.
you know, Travis Kelce is known by so many people now, but not because of him being a tight. You ask people what his position is, they couldn't tell you, but they know him because of who his girlfriend is.
Yeah.
They know him because of his commercials now.
Him and his brother and his
Him and
mom.
his brother on
But see,
TV.
but of course, in order to get there, like you said, you got to get to the biggest dance and you got to win. Because if you get second place, you don't get no commercials.
Yeah, it's very
You know,
true.
and that's very true. And whereas I'll say in the NBA, slightly different because LeBron is going to get commercials even if he ain't in the finals.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he is.
Yeah.
Well,
just the truth of it.
now he is.
Oh yeah, now he is. I mean,
But
even
he had to get,
yeah,
he had to become a winner
Yeah.
before it really
yeah,
took off.
So you know,
But you know what? I go back. I'm trying to think.
like,
So no, I'm trying to think about NFL.
there's very few. Okay,
I don't know. You know
I
what?
don't know that there is a megastar.
Now because
No, but
Mahomes
no,
ain't on the movies.
he's not in the movie.
He got
Okay, well, when you say megastar on that, okay, it's different for the NFL versus.
So how would you
NBA.
define it
Okay.
in the for the
In
NFL?
the NFL is different, okay, because in the basketball is a different animal all in itself. When you say megastar for them, it's more or less about the number you wear. People, you know, if you're wearing 15,
That likeliness that you were
everybody,
talking
yeah, the likeness, everybody knows who 15 is when you wear that color, right? Everybody knows who we say, who's that guy, who 21 is, right? Deion Sanders is one of those guys that has transcended, right? You put on a 21, who's 21? Why do people wear 21? right?
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
kinda. I
seriously,
mean,
like
like Dion is my all-time favorite athlete,
Yeah,
right?
I'm just saying, but.
And he's definitely has parlayed his fame,
Into.
you know, in that persona of prime time is
Yeah, yeah.
what he figured that out back in the 80s,
Yep.
90s,
Mhm.
what he had to do to become famous.
Yep.
But again, the NFL is different because dudes are wearing helmets,
You don't see their.
and
you only
the
see-
NFL promotes teams,
Yeah.
the NBA promotes players.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Mahomes has more commercials than everybody else. So he would
Mahomes-
definitely be
Yeah,
up there. Yeah.
cause like,
But
Lamar would be like, what, a megastar in Baltimore,
But
but Lamar is like a Kawhi Leonard. He
yeah,
don't do, he just about the sport.
He's about the sport, and you know, when you hear Lamar talk, it's very, as they would say, unpolished, because that's who he
Yeah.
is. No disrespect to him, because that's where he is. That's who he is. I respect him. I like him. But a lot of people, when you talk about transcending stuff, okay, let's go back to the '60s. Jim Brown, he transcended. He left sport and he went to become a an activist.
well, no, he became an actor
An
first.
actor, then an activist. So he went in. He was one of the first to do it, and pioneering. You know,
Even your guy, y'all guy in Dallas.
So Dak is
Yeah.
the poster boy
Yeah, he's the poster boy.
for being the All-American, clean cut,
Yeah, no trouble.
on the commercials,
Yeah,
NFL Man of the Year,
yeah.
all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's what you want as the
That's what
face of your
you want.
franchise.
Okay,
Saying so.
but he wouldn't necessarily be a mega.
No,
No,
because he hadn't
he-
won.
Okay,
No,
He hasn't won.
he would have to be, he'd have to win at least 2 Super Bowls in order for that to happen, for him to
Mm.
transcend.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
yeah.
the name, I mean, look, I could put the star on my face and it would get likes.
yeah.
I mean, because of that number, okay, I mean, Dallas is a whole nother animal all in itself. You know, so we're just gonna keep that over there. for now.
okay.
So when you talk about, like I said, when we're talking about football, like you said, they do promote team, you know, and that's the hard part about it, because unless you win the game, and this is just during the regular season, they don't talk to you if you lose.
Right.
And you're only talking to the quarterback or the guy who had a good game. You're not talking
Receiver, the
to,
running back, yeah.
yeah, you're not talking to the O-lineman. You're not talking to the tight end unless he's standing next to the quarterback.
Yep.
You know, so the quarterback is the face of your franchise. You know, right now, you know, when you say quarterbacks, you know, you're gonna go Mahomes because everybody's gonna say Mahomes. They
Yeah.
tried to push Hurts, not so much. They tried. But he wasn't winning. You know, like I said, like I said, he's the only superstar that's recognizable because of the commercials. He doesn't tweet. He keeps his girlfriend off Twitter.
Wife.
Wife.
Well, maybe he keeps his girlfriend off.
Yeah, he
but
keeps his girlfriend
his
off,
wife
but
is,
his wife
because
is-
he's
Yeah, because she made some
Must
news
say,
the
huh?
other day for being snooty to somebody. You know, it didn't get much traction, but still, you know, so it's, again, it's different in football. Like I said, you know, you have superstars, not really mega stars
Megastars.
that transcend, because if one of those guys transcend, it kind of messes up the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
Because remember, you have a union, everybody, and all the owners want to get paid, because all the owners want to get paid because everything runs through the team. That's how they make their money.
Yeah.
You know, TV deals, so on and so forth. You know, that's the sad part about it. And like you said, 15 could change, or I'll put it like this. Why would I want my number retired, as Michael Irvin would say, right? 88. 88's been a staple of the Dallas Cowboys since God knows when. I don't ever want my number up in the rafter because what? As he said it best. Oh, he's playing like Mike. I live in infamy. I live forever.
Mm.
Oh, he dropped the ball. Mike wouldn't have dropped that.
You're
Oh,
always gonna get that.
you're always gonna get that comparison.
Comparison,
Like
yep.
like the guys that wear for Michael Jordan for basketball, the guys that wear 23. Why do you wear 23 for the most part? Or why do you wear 4 for Kobe? Well, you know,
24, yeah.
you know,
24, yeah.
why do you wear these numbers? It's because they have an affinity toward those guys. And again, Braun wears what?
23 right now.
23, and then he went from 6. Yeah,
Then he
all
had
that,
6. You know, so all those numbers register, and those things
Wait,
transcend.
back to 6?
No, I was just saying how he.
No, I'm
changed the
trying
numbers
to
up.
think. But maybe I was wrong.
No,
Is
he's
he still
23.
23?
Yeah, so, you know, so all those guys,
should've.
you know, they're not chasing greatness, but they want to be associated with greatness.
Right.
You know, so LeBron, whatever number
Yeah, 23.
LeBron wears, 6, 23, he could wear 4. I'm guaranteeing you people are gonna buy the jersey.
Well, even with KD, you know, he went
Yeah.
from 35 and then he signified that, oh, now I'm going back to 7.
Yeah. See, like,
So,
but see,
now he's back, you know.
see all those, but see those numbers, like I said, numbers, those, they are, for football, they're more or less associated with the team.
Mhm.
You know, so, you know, whereas when Jordan wore 23, everybody associated Jordan with 23.
Right.
You know, when you wear 15 and you're in a Chiefs jersey, they say Mahomes, and then they go Chiefs.
Mhm.
They don't go 23 in the Bulls. They go 23 and Michael.
So in the NFL,
Mhm.
would it not be a good look to necessarily get your number retired?
No,
No,
it's a great look.
it's a
Here's
great
the
Well,
thing.
no, it's a great look. Let
But-
me reword that. It's a great look, but is it necessarily beneficial in what we're talking about?
Well, here's the thing. In the NFL, it's all about the shield, right?
Yeah.
Which is why they protect the shield, the logo,
Yeah.
they call it the shield, at all costs, right? They want you to promote yourself, but not at the cost
Of the league.
of the league, right? NBA is a little bit different. They want you to promote yourself because they think it's going to boost the league.
Yeah.
In the NFL, we promote the teams,
Yeah.
and if you get promoted along the way, then so good for
Not
you.
oh, well.
But anything that you do that's going to take away from that's why somebody that's a great player like my man Brown, great player, he's messing up our image.
Yeah.
So
gotta go.
he's out of the league,
Gotta
right?
go.
Brown.
Yeah, Anthony,
Oh, okay.
you know, Mr. AB.
Okay.
You know, take your shirt off. Okay.
Oh, Antonio.
Yeah, okay, so think about, I want you to think about the last time you saw him and what he did.
Last
Oh,
time, wasn't he out shirtless?
He
when
was out
doing
shirtless,
that?
throwing his stuff up in the air, and all the cameras went, well, not on the game, to him.
Yeah.
Right, in the time he did that before, when he left Pittsburgh, he was out on the sidelines. Now, think about it, when you're on the sidelines, what do you wear? Team apparel. Not him. He had on a full-length white something, I don't know if that was mink or fur. He had on sunglasses, a big old gold chain, and they kept doing this. Look at him. Look at him. You can't have that.
Yeah,
Not the NFL.
the NFL didn't like that. But yeah, but it's the greatest honor you can get
Yeah, the retirement
when
number.
your number gets so it's different when you get your jersey in the rafters. Everybody wants your jersey in the rafters hanging in the stadium.
When you retire.
But there's only certain dudes whose number, like nobody gets to wear that number ever again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a level that's
Yeah.
beyond, and I don't know that there's anybody in the NFL that has that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm asking.
Well, no, there's only for certain teams. Like, I don't think anybody will wear.
No, I'm talking about league wise. In the NBA, there's nobody in the league can ever wear this number
No.
because of this player.
There's nobody.
You
Yeah, that's- which is crazy.
There is
Yeah.
no number in the NFL that nobody can't wear.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, they put it up there.
yeah, on your
you know,
team
on your
for you.
team,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
but there's only there's certain teams where certain numbers aren't worn because, let's say, I think Johnny Unitas may have worn it and they just do it out of respect. Nobody's going to wear 13 for the Colts, but everybody else can wear 13.
Yeah.
Or nobody, but like for Dan Marino, right? You put his number up in the rafters. I don't think, what was the number? He wasn't 13.
He was
13 years.
13. So I have not seen a 13 on the Miami roster. And I could be
but
wrong.
here's the thing. I don't know why not. He ain't win no championships.
No, I'm just saying from his.
I'm just saying.
He's all
We love you. We
Yeah,
love
we
you,
love you,
Dan,
but-
but he ain't win nothing. You went to Super Bowl one time in your
Well,
first year,
Yeah,
second
it
year.
wasn't his fault. They wouldn't get.
I mean,
Look, they wouldn't get that man
Yeah,
nothing.
you'll run out of jerseys if you start putting everybody that you like up
Yeah,
there.
not
but,
like, but I'm
yeah.
just saying. So,
but no, but yeah, so I don't know if that's.
yeah, I don't think that's a,
But you get your number, the Ring of Honor,
yeah,
but other people can still wear it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But again, but in my opinion, I think I would not want my number retired.
Yeah.
I'd always want somebody to wear my number. I mean, like I said, I think I wore 35 in college because I liked Aeneas Williams, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I wore 35. So, because again, he was a role model of sorts. He was a preacher. You never saw him, you never heard of him doing anything, back in the day. We don't know what he did, but he never had any major headlines. And I was like, yeah, that's the kind of guy I want to be.
Yeah.
So,
well, I grew up as a Michael Jordan fan.
Yeah.
And so, of course, 23.
Yeah.
I tried to get 23 on the football team, and 23 has nothing to do with football because that's how much I love Jordan. So I'm walking around with a 23 football jersey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of
Yeah, see,
that,
but
dude.
but see,
But it had nothing to
That
do with that.
significance,
yeah,
that,
see,
that connection.
connection, like I said, so when you say 23, you literally think Jordan. I mean, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, or like I said, when you see 21, when I see 21 on a football field, I automatically think Dion,
Right.
you know, so,
Even though there've been hundreds of people that will have.
Yeah, that's not the
But-
first one that
but
comes
who
to
do you-
me.
yeah.
Who do you think? of?
LT.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Lathan, yeah, LT,
Okay.
yeah, but he wore 21 because of who?
Probably Dion.
Dion. You know, I mean, like, so, because LT was after
Yeah,
Dion,
for sure.
you know, prime time, you know, and again, like he said, Dion figured it out first.
Marketing. He was one of the
Marketing.
first. he
Which
was-
is why some kids actually want to play for him.
Yeah.
Because like you
Marketing.
said,
Mhm.
he's starting to understand and adjust to all this money
well,
that's coming.
and again, one, he figured out when he was that age.
Yes, he did.
And can you imagine what Dion would be doing
In
today?
today's time,
He would have so
He
many
wouldn't have to
clicks,
play
views.
Football.
It's crazy.
He
I mean-
would literally not have to play football.
Yeah, I mean, it's because he was the master of marketing. I mean, we still call him Coach Prime to this day,
Coach Prime.
all because he created a persona
Yep.
before he got drafted,
You gotta,
because he knew defensive backs aren't making that kind of money.
hold on, you gotta listen to his story. He says, like you said, he figured it out. He was like, I can't be Deion Sanders. I have to be somebody else. So he said he shows up on Florida State's campus in a golf cart made out. They basically put like a BMW, a Mercedes kit on it with gold rims. He had all this jewelry on, and he had the Jerry curl. And and when he pulled up, all the cameras went to him.
yeah.
He mastered it, man. He like I said, he figured it out like that.
So how?
Go ahead.
So since you're talking about Dion, how did he figure out that he could do that without hurting the team?
Well, no, okay. So, but see, again, it was different. I mean, he made, again, I have no inkling, but I'm sure boosters were I'm sure allegedly, whatever, but I'm sure it was happening everywhere. But I think he figured out in order to parlay this into an NFL deal, because again, back then, when you got drafted in the top 10, you could get like anywhere from a $20 million, $40 million deal. So the higher you go, the more money you make.
Right.
So he figured out.
And
really
guaranteed
quick-
money, right?
Well, mostly guaranteed,
Okay.
but you know, I mean, NFL contracts are different.
Yeah.
They're not NBA contracts. NBA, they're gonna give you $100 million. They're gonna give you $100 million.
Yeah.
You know, in the NFL, they give you $100 million. No, you're gonna get 20.
You got
You-
some
you-
incentives
you
that you
sign-
gotta
You
meet.
get your
Yeah.
signing bonus.
Yeah.
That's what's guaranteed.
Work for the rest.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, he figured it out. Like I said, you know, if I can get views, because he said, I gotta feed my mama and them, as he says.
Mhm.
Yeah, I gotta feed my family. He said, this is a way to feed my family. So he figured out, like I said, if I can get more views, more eyes on me. So he would say, you know, and that's when you remember they would say little things that would get posted in the newspaper and everybody would go read it. Ooh, it's gonna be a good game. He's talking trash. Da, 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 da. You know, so everybody would watch the game. You know, you watch it for Dion. Like I said, I remember the first time I saw Dion, you know, I can't stand Clemson. So, you know, they were playing Clemson in Death Valley. And Chris Gordaki had to pump the ball to Dion. And I was like, please just score. And oh my God, this man was high stepping at the 20, literally, like nobody around. He said, oh my God. And that's when they punted to him a couple of times. They're like, we can't punt the ball to this guy. And he would, you know, he would get down in the end zone. This is when they got rid of penalties for excessive celebration. And he would be like, in
Yeah.
the end zone, and they threw a flag. But you know, so all that stuff brings attention, right? To you, because it's
It
marketing.
does.
It's marketing. You know, I mean, because they outlawed the celebrations after that, after him in Miami started
Mhm.
doing it. So, you know, because think about all those great guys that went to Miami, they got drafted, clicks, views. That's what we call them now. But they were some eyeballs wrong.
And you gotta think, like Dion has figured out how to embrace the
NIL.
current
NIL.
transfer portal. And
Yeah.
again, we keep talking about NIL. Transfer portal is a different beast altogether, right?
Another monster.
So
Especially with that much money, you got starters leaving.
Yeah.
exactly. So, you know, transfer portal has really changed the game. And coaches that old school, you know, I recruit you, you come here, you sit with me till I'm ready to play you.
Yeah.
And you learn under me until I need you.
Mhm.
You know, those days are done because you don't have to now. You can
Yeah.
bounce, you can go somewhere where you think you can play,
Yeah.
where you can get a better situation. You know, you can debate that, whether that's positive or negative, whatever, but it's player empowerment that
Yeah.
was never existed before.
Ever.
Dion is not running away from it. He's running towards it.
Yeah.
And so he's like, look, when he got to Colorado, he was like, this roster is not good. So I'm gonna tell all you guys now,
Leave
I got a bunch of guys coming that are better than you.
so you can stay.
You need to go somewhere where you're gonna play because you're not gonna play here. God bless you. I'll help you however I can,
Yep.
but I don't really have a spot for you, right?
Yep.
This year, he's saying the same thing. I've remade last year's roster and I brought in a bunch of dudes
Yeah.
and
You don't want to be here.
thank you for last year. But I got these dudes coming in to play offensive line, defensive line, because that's where we were weak last year.
If you ain't,
God bless you.
you ain't with it, gotta go.
You might need to go somewhere else. I'm gonna be honest with you up front, and people are like, "Oh, I can't believe it." Look, that's the way it goes. You
That's
got to
what
win. The object is winning, and you be upfront with the kids. And
See,
again,
that's the whole point. I think he's being upfront with kids, whereas other coaches aren't. And again, I don't know what goes on recruiting, but I don't think those other coaches are truly being as upfront. Because you look at the deal where the Duke coach is calling you from the plane, going to sign the deal. Really?
Yeah.
You could have told me before you left.
Mhm.
I understand it's $80 million, coach. I'd leave too. Or Nick Saban wait until the recruiting cycle's almost done and say he's retiring. I mean, think
You
about it.
recruited me to come
Now
here.
you're retiring. Like what? Or the Washington kids who were just playing in a national championship game only to find out a week later, oh yeah, by the way, guys, I got an opportunity down in Alabama. I'm gonna go take it because it's Alabama.
but the funny thing about it is, the coach could say, "Come on down to Alabama."
Yeah, you do that now.
But if he doesn't say that, he's basically telling you, "You were good enough for me when I was in Washington.
Yeah, but
You're not
no,
good enough for me down here in Alabama." So it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be, yeah, see that portal, and again, I think the portal's fair. Because, it's been years and years and years of, actually that old, I mean, I always thought it was unfair that the coach could leave and you had to give up a year, of your eligibility to do so.
Mhm.
The only way, if you were moving in conference,
Conference.
he had to sign off on it. And I'm like, bruh, what you mean? So you can
'Cause
go,
ain't no coach gonna sign up.
ain't
on
nobody gonna sign off on that. Like,
You going to Duke now? You going to Carolina? You think I'm finna sign off on that?
No, I hate Duke.
Especially if you a player that can move the needle.
Yeah, I think I think the portal is fair, like I said, because and again, it makes the coach accountable to do his job. That makes sense because, again, anybody that's ever been recruited, I've never been recruited. Right. So I don't know what that's like, but from what I've heard, and it's just like when you go for an interview for a job. The song and dance, everybody sounds great, everybody treats you great, everybody loves you because they want you here because you're valuable. Once you get in here, they make you work. Right now, the coach has got you. I got you. I don't have to re-recruit you. So in this new day and age, you have to be okay, coach. You said you were going to develop me. I haven't seen practice in 2 years. You'll be ready. Yeah, but what am I doing?
Right.
Nothing. You just told this kid here, and I remember this like yesterday. We were all sitting in the meeting room, and the coach comes out and he says, we got everything we need in this room. So I felt good about myself. I feel good, boy. Ooh. Not knowing they were actively recruiting to replace me. I show up for 2 days in this in August, and I'm looking at like 4 new defensive backs. I'm like, what are they doing here? I thought we had everything we needed.
That's right. Yeah.
In this room.
Wait,
Thought that was what I knew.
did I say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I left that out almost. We got almost everything we need in this room.
So I sit there like, I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So again, so that opens the door. If they had the portal back then, I probably would be like,
Yeah.
I'm in the portal,
Yeah.
man. I'm out.
Yeah.
And then if you have, like you said, in that situation, you didn't necessarily react in a negative light.
Yeah, I
but
did,
let's just
yeah.
say you did.
Yeah.
So that already creates bad blood. Why would a coach want to?
Well, see, like I
Stop.
said, they won't.
Yeah.
But of course, back then, like I said, you still had to play the politics and so on and so forth. Now, I can put my name. If you don't like me, or if you decide that I'm not a fit for your program or the program's not a fit for me, then I can go someplace else where I fit in.
Well, I'm even hearing that even now, even there was a specific lineman.
Mhm.
He was already getting contact throughout the season
Well, you're not supposed to.
where he
do
was
that.
Yeah, that's kinda
to,
crazy.
to come
Well, you're not-
somewhere else
you're
and
not,
stuff like that.
You're not supposed to do that. I mean, I'll say that.
Yeah,
I
that's
do
kinda-
think
that's
that's
kinda-
underhanded and,
Yeah,
you know, but of course, that's gonna be part of the recruiting process, and that's gonna be part of the things that they change for the portal, because there's, like with everything, there's blackout, in recruiting, there's blackout periods, there's only
Yeah.
so many phone calls you can have, i.e., you know, and it has to be when the season is over for college. You can't be actively recruiting. Actually, you know, don't you want to come play for Coach Brown?
Yeah.
You know, what kid almost doesn't? I mean, for real. I mean, I mean, think about it. I mean, just when he went to Colorado, I mean, did you see the Twitter storm? It was crazy. Can I come play? I mean, it was just insane.
Sold out tickets. That was the first time they ever got
Yeah,
sold
The
out.
tickets, the kids, the activity on the internet, man. I mean, literally, I mean, you had
Poster went up.
not even boosters, but you had kids that were on at other programs.
yeah, calling him saying,
Calling him
I'm
saying,
ready.
I'm ready.
yeah, now again,
And the whole time he like, I don't think that's what we need, but
so now he has to maintain it, right?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
He got the big splash up front.
Yep.
Now he's got to keep it going. So they kind of got a little bit of a pass.
Yeah, this year.
But now he's got to win. He's got to do. Yeah, people were there, you know, game day, you know, it's a big deal. He got celebrities coming to the games. That's only going to keep happening if now they take that next step and they start winning games,
Gotcha.
you know, and then, and you'll keep getting those guys if now you start competing for, you know, titles and, you know, winning rec bowls and that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And so, you know,
Then he'll leave.
he'll do, yeah, probably so.
Because like I said, that's a Power 5 school, but it's on the bottom end of money. When I said when those guys call, who can pay you $90 million, call you.
Actually, you know what? There's people at all these schools that can pay you $90 million.
Yeah, but will
If
they?
you make it worth it, like Colorado,
Yeah.
he's made it. Matter of
Worth their
fact,
while.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's already renegotiated his
Well,
first
I
deal.
think he already has.
But-
Process.
He'll tell you every time you talk to him, he's from Florida. He lives in Texas. He ain't for that cold weather. So he'll be in Colorado till,
I'd say 3
you
more
know,
years. Two and a half, 3 more.
but he's going to end up in Texas or Florida at some point. Texas or Florida.
Come on home, player.
Yeah.
Going
Yes.
back to that old topic right quick. Other than Mike's, what is a number that is significant but doesn't come straight to your mind? So like,
For what, basketball,
For-
football?
it doesn't matter.
56.
And then what are your top 3 celebrations? Football.
Ooh.
Celebration? Okay,
Oh
And
man.
who's 56? I don't know.
56
Lawrence
LT,
Taylor.
LT,
Yeah.
baby.
Ah,
He thinks.
Ah.
Hey, man.
yes.
Lawrence Taylor.
LT, baby. What you mean? That's all you got.
You got one?
Well, my favorite number is the number 3.
Okay.
Mm,
Do I know a player that wears number 3? A couple. But
53.
nobody now. So he started out with with number 1. He ended up with 3. But Mahmoud Abdul Rauf was one of my all-time favorite players.
Yeah.
But I've been
He started a firestorm.
the number 3 has just always been my favorite number since.
The number of completion. Sorry, the number of.
If I had to choose one, I'm gonna go 0.
Well, my favorite.
Okay.
I said, well, my favorite.
Because of Arenas, Gilbert Arenas, or just because you
0.
like the number?
Nah, just because I always like the number.
0.
It just for me, it just signified that it was nothing.
I got you.
Yeah.
You know, like it didn't correlate to anything. It was just like this is my number, which was 0. But when I was small, it probably would have to be the number 10.
Okay.
Like I said, I guess my favorite number is the number I wore, of course.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I like 35. And that's a connection I have with that number. You
Yeah.
know, so whoever's wearing 35 playing the game, I always see who's got 35.
Got you.
And if he's playing, he's not, I'm like, dude, really?
Yeah.
So my
yeah.
numbers did change over the years, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I wore 20 in high school. And then when I got to college, like I said, fortunate for me, I picked 35 and the guy who was a senior and had left, so I got my
So you
number.
got to get it.
And literally, coach was like, what number you want? 35. Here you go.
Give me that.
Oh, I got it. My roommate was like, how'd you get your number? Like, bro, I don't know. I just had one. So
Yeah. My all-time favorite numbers is 3. As far as players go,
Yeah.
23 for Jordan, because that's my childhood favorite. 21 for Dion, because he's my all-time favorite athlete. So yeah, those are probably my 3 numbers that
Yeah.
come to mind when I
Come to
think
mind.
of, yeah.
24 Kobe. That would be me. 13 because of
24
Harden.
Kobe or 8 Kobe?
24.
Good
24
choice.
Kobe. 13 because of Harden.
Okay.
My God. And
cooking, cooking.
this is a good one. Man. There's so many good players in the league.
Oh yeah, always. You just gotta pick your favorite number.
24, 13. No, that'll have
So
to be
here's
my
the thing,
two.
when you pick your number based on the player wearing it,
Mhm.
and then they switch numbers, does that mess you up?
It does. It does. It really
I'm
does.
glad we didn't have
Because
that.
Harden just changed his
I'm
number.
glad we didn't have that problem growing up.
But I think I have to choose, at least for Harden, I had to choose a number with 13 because I just feel like that's more him.
I got you.
He had that for the longest. He developed through 13,
Yeah.
the number, whereas, Kobe, it was 8. Then it went to 24, but skill-wise, I think 24 is better than 8.
Okay.
I do think that player was better.
Well, I love 24 Kobe, couldn't stand 8 Kobe.
Right.
Because 8 Kobe was Michael Jordan clone, and I just didn't like when he came in and he just tried to copy everything. 24 Kobe, I associate with the Mamba,
Mm.
and I loved the Mamba.
The killer instinct.
I was never a Kobe fan until he
So it went to
became
24.
the Mamba, and now I have nothing
I
but
said my
respect for
favorite
that
number.
dude now.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
you said
guess-
your favorite. I was thinking
My-
when you went 35, I was thinking you
Well,
were
no, no,
KD or something.
No, 35. Well, that was my personal favorite number. Now, we're talking about athletes. My favorite number was 33 because of Tony Dorsett.
Oh yeah,
And then, of course, more of my guys were in college. So I liked, what's that boy's name? Jesus. It wasn't done. I liked Charlie Ward. I can't remember. I think
he was 17,
yeah,
right?
17.
I'm surprised that since football, no 25, no Bush.
No, Bush wore 5 at USC.
Oh, he did wear
He wore 5. I mean, 5 was a nice number, but like I said, a 33. Was it? I like because of course, growing up, you didn't see many black quarterbacks.
No 7s for y'all?
No, you talking about the Kaepernick?
No, I was
Kaepernick
thinking
wore 7.
Vic.
Well, Vic wore 7. Did
Yeah,
wear
when he got
7
to the league.
I
but-
believe, but what did he wear? What did he wear at Von Tech?
I think it was 7. I don't even remember.
Well, see, like, because yeah, maybe 7. Like Vic, I don't know. I wouldn't really. I like to watch him play, but it wasn't so much about his number. He could have wore 345.
Yeah,
Yeah, he wore 7. He wore 7. He wore 7.
Okay, you wore 7, yeah. So, but those are the numbers, like I said, 17, and of course 2 because of Dion.
yeah. He's 2 at Florida State.
He was 2
No,
Florida State.
12s, no 11s.
Here's the
11.
thing.
Ah.
With 12, there's 1,000.
I thought, yeah, that's why I
Like,
asked. That's why I
I feel
asked.
like 90% of quarterbacks wear number
12,
12. It's
yeah.
like everybody wears 12.
Like the chosen
Or-
number.
or
or something.
10, or
Yeah.
if you want to be a quarterback, you got to wear 1, baby. Throw it on there. But sometimes it's like those legacy numbers that the guys wear at schools, like at LSU, the guy that wears 18. Those numbers. When you talk about numbers, not my favorite, but at certain schools, certain numbers mean certain things.
Things.
Like I said, so it just depends on, I think, who you really watched growing up. Again, I was a Dallas fan. I love Tony Dorsett. So 33 will always be one of my favorite numbers. Can't afford his jersey because it's ridiculously overpriced.
Do we have any celebrations?
Oh,
Oh my God.
Top 3 celebrations. I know y'all seen them. I know y'all seen
so
them.
the celebrations now are funny because they change with whatever the hot move is.
Yeah.
I will always love Cam's Superman.
Okay.
Like-
Is this rank? Are you ranking this?
I don't know. I'm
Like
just
the
thinking
three?
what comes off the top of my
Let
head.
me see.
Back in the old days, things are so different. Dion's is always going to be probably number one for me just
Oh,
because he was my favorite guy.
Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Chad didn't have one
Yeah, the little
particular.
thing.
Yeah, he would always. It's always
Yeah.
entertaining to
No,
watch.
no Ray Lewis?
No, he didn't celebrate.
That was
Yeah, but that was
the
coming
intro.
out.
Yeah, the little.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. Speaking of that,
Oh, my God.
people hate on him. I loved when T.O. was in his
Oh.
prime and he was coming up with something different every week. He had the popcorn.
Yep.
He had he grabbed the pom poms. He got the Sharpie out. Yo, T.O. was the dude, but him and Ocho
Him and Ocho had
was.
it down.
I think
Yeah.
they were just trying to figure out who can
Or better yet,
copy each other.
Here we go. Who was it that put the phone in the goalpost? Andre
I
Rison?
think- no, I think that was T.O. was one of them that
Yeah, he
did that.
pulled the phone out of the phone post, was like, I had to call somebody. Oh, my. Then you had the Miami Hurricane celebrations and tauntings.
Oh yeah, with they little chains and stuff on the sides.
God, they used to look, it was so bad. They would taunt you before, they would start celebrating at the 50. And they would celebrate all the way down to the sideline. Then everybody be in the end zone. They would celebrate, they would do gunshots.
So I personally, I love, let me tell you two things. People that know me, this is opposite my personality, but I love trash talkers
Ooh,
and I love end zone celebrations, right? It's so opposite because what I like about sports is people are doing stuff that I can't do.
Yeah.
And when you talk trash and back it up,
it's even better.
when you have a great celebration, like people say, oh, they spend too much time. That's fun. I love it. When NFL started getting rid of all that and they became the no fun league,
Oh,
I'm glad they started bringing it back where they let you do choreographed team,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to the shield. Okay, we'll let you do a team thing,
but not.
but if you're doing your own thing, we're gonna say no. But I just love that. And I'm gonna go back full circle before we wrap things up. Last night, if you watched the Duke Carolina game, Baycott got an and one, and he hit Filipowski, who's a 7-footer.
Oh,
With the two
and the whole,
small.
yeah, and the
And
whole,
everybody that
bench.
was on the court did it, and then the bench did it. They did the too small, then they stomped on it. I'm like, yes, yes. Now we got to win this game now. And Filipowski can't dunk on somebody next, but they hit him with the too small. I'm surprised they didn't get a tech.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
surprised they didn't tee him up. Here we go. I'm surprised they didn't hit him with that. But that was a new one. I hadn't seen everybody do the too small and then the step on. So I'm like, golf clap for that one. I'm gonna give you that one.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
yes.
Oh, my God.
So again, nothing better than a good rivalry
Yep.
when your team wins and you get to come up with something like that. So anyway, that was great. That was great. That was great.
All right. Oh, well, with that, like I said, with that, our episode comes again, please like, share this information with your friends, family, because again, we're trying to grow the channel. And subscribe, leave comments. Again, we want to beat the YouTube algorithm. And again, like I said, I want to thank everybody for their time. My man,
AJ.
Jay.
we got A-Dub. And again, we'll see you all next week, same place.